We know that to suffer without meaning is painful. Moreover, to suffer alone without meaning is much more painful. On the other hand, to suffer with meaning and with someone is more liberating. That is what we learned from Jesus himself. Jesus went through so much of suffering, but his suffering, he understood it in the context of the will of God, and the will of God is to bring salvation to the world. And Jesus did not suffer alone because he knew from the beginning that the Father was with him. And now we witness the disciples commissioned by Jesus to proclaim the good news. Like in the Acts of the Apostles that we read in the first reading, Paul suffered so much. In fact, the ones who persecuted him thought that he was already dead. But for Paul, yes, he suffered because of proclaiming the good news. And Paul admitted that I suffer because of Jesus. But Paul also believed that he was never alone. Not because Barnabas was with him, but he also believed that God or Jesus was with him in his ministries. In our own life, we may be experiencing sufferings. And we realize that it's so painful when you suffer alone. And most especially when you do not know the reason for your suffering. When we suffer, ambivalent emotions emerge. There may be times when we feel like taking revenge. There may be times that we can harbor grudges towards people who persecute us. But the more we do this, the more we suffer, because this is not the meaning that God might want us to know when we are going through this suffering. But if we can understand these sufferings in the context of our faith, knowing that we suffer because of what we believe, we suffer because there is a much greater reason why we are doing what we believe is right and true, then the suffering will be less painful. It will become liberating for us. And when we say liberating, it gives us a sense of peace, just Jesus said in the gospel, telling us, I leave with you my peace, and you are never alone, because I will come back to you. And if I come back to you, let not your hearts be troubled or afraid, because you are never alone in your suffering.